Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about some major DC news, and this is in regards to Warner Brothers and the future of what they might be doing with DC and the rest of their catalogue. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Okay, so this article is originally from the Variety report, that big Aquaman 2 report that we've talked about previously on a live stream last week, and also I might make a separate video on it, but I'm going to be reading off the Screen Rant article instead because it hones in on what I want to specifically talk about. And shout out to Andy for writing this article. I'll leave the link in the description below to the Screen Rant article, plus I'll leave some links to Andy's pages because he is a legend. He appears on the channel a lot, especially during live streams, so please be sure to go support him because he's done a great job with this article that we're going to be breaking down in this video. Okay, so the title of the article is "The DCU faces even more upheaval after bombshell Warner Brothers sale report." So basically what is happening right now is Warner Brothers Discovery may be potentially sold in the future, which could have significant implications for the DC universe and its upcoming projects. And so we're going to get into this, we're going to break down this article and go through it bit by bit. So this is how it goes. Warner Bros. Discovery could be looking at a potential sale in the coming years, which may have major ramifications for James Gunn's DC universe. One of the Hollywood studios to have faced the most challenges in the last few years is Warner Bros. After initially having been acquired by AT&T before they sold to Discovery. So that's why they're Warner Bros. Discovery now, which resulted in their major 2022 merger. After multiple changes by the new Warner Bros. Discovery bosses in 2022, DC was one of the divisions to get a shake-up, with the DCEU coming to an end in order to pave the way for DC Studios' DC Universe. Obviously that's James Gunn's thing and Peter Safran. So despite having multiple upcoming DC Universe projects and movies and TV shows in the works, it appears that the stakes with DC Studios are a lot bigger. During Variety's major Aquaman and the Last Kingdom report, the trade also brought up how WBD could potentially be eyeing another sale within the next 2 years. Speaking to Rich Greenfield, who works for Lightshed and is also a Wall Street analyst, he expressed that the bottom line is that they need to get DC to work, whether Zaslav owns it, whether Brian Roberts owns it, whether somebody else owns it. Variety also added that word on the Warner Bros. Discovery lot is that many are convinced that a company like Universal will acquire the studio. So there you have it. We're going to talk about how this will affect the DCU in a minute, but let's break down this information that we've just gone through. So potentially, according to Variety, Warner Bros. Discovery might be looking to make a sale. So they could be bought by a big studio like Universal, which would obviously be another major shake-up. It would be like, you remember when Fox was bought by Disney? It was huge. Everyone made a big deal about it. Obviously, it's good to have healthy competition with these studios, but with another merger, that would be a huge thing for Hollywood. And honestly, I'm against it. I don't think it's a good idea to mix two big studios. Like, I think doing Fox and Disney, making them merge together was bad enough, and will have a major impact in the future of how films are made and the way that films are released and how many films there are. So I think it's good that they make different types of films. So yeah, that's kind of the update on like DC, like potentially, but take it with a grain of salt because nothing is confirmed. It's just rumors going around that potentially in the future WBD might sell to a company like Universal, who could acquire Warner Brothers as a studio. But let's move on to how this will impact the future of the DCU specifically. So Andy goes on to write, at the time of this story's publication, none of the WBD executives have commented on the reports about a potential sale. With that in mind, if Universal or any other major Hollywood studio would purchase Warner Bros., it could certainly serve as a major risk for the new DC universe. The DCU's first movie is set to be Gunn's Superman Legacy, which arrives in 2025, meaning an acquisition could potentially add even more hurdles before the first DCU film actually releases, and adds more reason for audiences to speculate about the movie and the franchise's success. Now, this is me hopping in here. I agree with Andy. Obviously, this could put the DCU in proper jeopardy with new owners coming in, like you've seen it with Discovery coming in, with AT&T coming in, with Warner Brothers basically selling themselves to other people. These new executives have come in, like David Zaslav, since he took over with Discovery. He's completely revamped the DCU. He has basically thrown away the DCEU. He wants something different. He wants James Gunn's vision. And if someone else took over, what's to say that they don't just dump what David Zaslav has been doing and what James Gunn has been doing, and they actually go for something different? And that literally messes up the DCU so bad once again, and it's just a repeat of what happened in the past. So I'm really hoping, for the sake of the DCU, this doesn't happen, and I hope that actually WBD figure out what they're doing with the DC universe and make it good and have some sort of continuity, just like Marvel has had with Kevin Feige being in charge for such a long time. So we need someone like James Gunn and Peter Safran to steer the ship, and I really hope there's no changes. So Andy continues to write, even if Superman Legacy is a financial and critical success, should another studio get in charge of a major asset like the DC IP, there is always the possibility that the new regime may have different thoughts on Gunn and Peter Safran's announced DC Universe plans, literally just as I said, so I completely agree with Andy there. So he says, there could be elements in Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, that's what James Gunn and Peter Safran have called their first chapter in the DCU, that they may not support, which could quickly lead to the same problems that the DCEU had, which was seemingly having too many cooks in the kitchen behind the scenes. There you have it, literally what I said. Me and Andy are completely agreeing. So if a new company begins to pick DC Studios' decade-long plans apart, it will quickly be noticed by the audience. 100% agree, it's going to be noticed by the audience. It was noticed with the DCU and with all the changes, so it would definitely be noticed here if this actually happened. So despite this report, it also is key to remember that not everything is dependent on how the DC Universe performs, as WBD will need other properties and franchises to help with the profit, whether that is Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, or their many animated IPs. Nevertheless, the DC Universe will certainly need to be in a similar position to the Marvel Cinematic Universes to Disney, as they have been dominating the superhero genre for nearly 2 decades now. For now, though, WBD continues forward as DC Studios gets closer to launching the new DC universe. So that is a report from Andy from Screen Rant. Link in the description below. You guys can go ahead and read it yourself, but we pretty much broke down the whole thing. So what are you guys thinking about this whole article that we broke down? Are you thinking it's a possibility? And if it does actually go through, like an actual sale, what do you think is going to happen? Are they going to majorly question what James Gunn and Peter Safran is doing? Is there going to be some big changes? And I think personally, with any acquisition, changes are bound to happen, so I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some major retcons or different projects being canned if someone like Universal came in and they saw more value in different things. But you would hope that they would go through DC Studios, which is now a studio as part of Warner Brothers Discovery, and they would go to James Gunn, they would go to Peter Safran and say, we don't agree with this, please can you have a think about doing something slightly different, and hopefully they can work together. That is my ultimate hope, because I don't think what has previously happened with the DCEU is the way to go around it, because it affected the audience, it affected the way people perceived DC films, and that's because the major changes and the scandals kind of behind the scenes were very clear to see for everyone. So I think they need to try and keep everything under wraps, and it's good that James Gunn hasn't revealed too much about the entirety of his, future vision for the DCU. He's only revealed quite a bit about Superman Legacy, which is definitely being made at this point. So he doesn't want to go into too much detail, which I think is a very good thing, especially in the future with things up in the air. So I think they've made the right decision for now. So we'll have to wait and see how this saga actually unfolds. But that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It really would help this video get out there. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.